Depression is inherently selfish. Today, I'm going to share some thoughts with you guys, and it might be a little bit difficult to listen to, but that's okay. Okay? Everything actually is okay. You being depressed, if you are, that's also okay. But it still is inherently selfish. And I will explain in this video how that works and also give you baby steps at the end of the video to help you get out of it. Now, let's understand what is happening when you are depressed. What are you thinking about? What is it that you're actually prioritizing? Because this is the key. If you think about it, you'll notice that you are thinking a lot about how you are feeling. You're tired, perhaps. You feel low self-worth. You feel that or think that no one wants to talk to you. No one cares about you. No one thinks that you are valuable or worthy, etc. And you are bringing all of this, back to you. And you're thinking about you. Now, you might be thinking about other people feeling things about you, but you're not really asking them when you're depressed. You're only talking to yourself, and you're only self-feeding yourself a narrative that is most probably a lie, that you are bad, that you're blaming yourself, essentially. Okay? So if we understand what is going on with your thoughts, and it's not necessarily correct, it's not necessarily the truth of what's actually going on, let's go a little bit further into understanding that concept. Your thoughts are your own thoughts, and you are talking to yourself most probably when you're depressed, because the opposite of depression is community, right? Actually, that's the antidote. That's how you solve depression. Other people feeling that you are valuable. That's what solves depression. If you feel that you are valuable, that you have a high self-worth, you're not going to be depressed. Very often you're depressed only because of low self-worth. But it's still inherently selfish because you are thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about other people. In what ways are you useful and valuable? In what ways can you be utilized? Okay, now I'm not talking about necessarily being used by other people, but to be useful. That's something different, entirely different. You're not being useful at all. When you're depressed, the only thing that you want to do is to isolate yourself. And if you have the opportunity of being in front of another person, you're probably going to try to make them depressed as well so that they follow your communal kind of thinking and circle, which is a problem, right? So now you're not only not useful, but you're also bringing other people down, right? And now this might cause you to be like, oh no, is that what's going on when I'm depressed? Yes, that is what's going on, and it's an actual real problem. But the problem is not the depression itself. The problem is the selfishness that is inherent, that you are behaving like. It's the behavior that's the problem. Your thoughts is not the problem, right? Your thoughts is just what you're thinking about. But your thoughts will lead to words, and your words will lead to behavior, which leads to your current reality. The reality is a problem that we want to change. The behavior is a problem for other people. You don't hurt a lot of people if it's only in your head, right? If it's only your thinking. You hurt people based on your behavior. Because that is based on the things that you do and things that you don't do. Now, your thoughts and words lead to those, and your thoughts and words can actually change to the point where you begin to behave better in an unselfish way that actually blesses lives and helps other people. And once you begin to do that process, then people begin to feel that you are useful, that you do have value to bring to the table, and that they want to be around you because they're probably quite depressed themselves. A lot of people are depressed today. We're the most lonely generation of all time. We never operated in such a way that we do right now. That you go in, in buses and metros as sardines, not talking to anyone, and then you go to your work and sit at your desk and do what you're supposed to do, and maybe don't talk to people all day. You might talk to strangers, that you don't really have a connection with, or you might, be behind a desk and just type on a computer all day and maybe email something back and forth, but you're not connecting with anyone, and you're just doing what you need to do in order for you to survive. Now, if you do have a job, I have to add this in there, because the people that are most depressed are those that are not productive. Those that are actually not in the community, not talking to people, not actually serving, not doing nothing with their lives. Those are the most depressed people, and the ones that are in many ways the most danger to themselves. And it's also a problem for society because, taxes goes to pay for that very often in first world countries. Now, in developing countries, that's not that big of a thing, right? Usually in third world countries, what they end up doing, those depressed guys, they end up mooching off, okay, and leeching off of their parents and their moms. And I see it everywhere, even in developing countries. It's crazy. Men being depressed is the biggest problem there is because they have a lot of power when they talk to people, when they're around women and children. Depressed people are also the ones that are the most dangerous because once they become emotional, and they use stimulants, they can actually be a very big danger behaviorally for people around them. At the end of the day, depression is selfish because you're not thinking about anyone but yourself. And that is a problem that we need to get out of. So the most unselfish thing to do is to make sure that you are continuously optimistic and grateful for the opportunity of being alive. That's the most unselfish thing that you can do because that is being a light for everyone else around you. And it is a beautiful life. It is fantastic. Life is not effed up and then you die, okay? Life is freaking awesome. But it needs to be explored. And you need to understand relationships and how they work so that you can feel valuable, so that you can have a high self-worth and a high confidence around other people. You might not have that right now, and that's why you're depressed. But guess what? The only way to transform your behavior from a selfish, just the behavior. I'm not saying you are selfish. I'm not attacking you as a person. I'm just saying that the behavior itself is selfish. The depression is selfish, okay? So you can change that, though. You can change your mindset. It's going to take time. I'm not saying that, okay, we can snap our fingers and you're out of your depression, because it doesn't work like that. You need to be infected with positivity and with a fantastic attitude from the environment and the community around you. This is what you get when you watch my videos, by the way. If you're depressed and you watch my videos long term, you're going to stop being depressed eventually. It's impossible for you to think like me and be depressed long term. Because I've mastered, it's not like I don't get down ever, right? It happens. Because I have problems too. We all do, right? But I managed to get over it because I understand the long-term vision. I understand what's in front of me. I understand what's happening. And because I understand what's happening, I can get myself out of it much faster. The biggest problem in a depressive state is when you're asking, what is going on? I don't understand how to solve this. What am I going to do? When you're confused, when everything is blurry. That's when you're depressed, right? If you don't know what to do, that's when you're depressed. Because guess what? You're unproductive when you don't know what to do and you don't take that next step in serving other people. If you truly have other people in mind, you're actually going to take action because you can't serve other people in your head alone. You might have an idea, a hunch to do something for someone else, and then you didn't do it, right? You didn't say that nice thing that you could have said that you noticed. You didn't do that nice thing that you could have done that you didn't do. And as a result, it didn't alter someone else's perspective and situation and daily life. And so they weren't impacted like they should have been. Imagine if you exponentially throughout your life did better every single day in doing good to other people. Is it possible? Is it physically possible that you'd be depressed at the end of your life when you have exponentially served people? It's impossible. And that's why depression is inherently selfish and why you need to get out of it and get the help that you need in order for you to get out of it. Some people say you need to go to therapy. I would personally say get a coach, get a community that thinks positive, that are go-getters, that are going in the direction where we can serve millions of people and more. Think big about what you can do, because you can do great things. There's been men that were in worse situations than you, oh my Lord, that still did amazing things and are still written in books, right? To this day, stories that are being told of guys that were stuck and struggling and almost died and a lot of things, right? And then they changed the situation over time exponentially and they did great things. You can do that stuff. If you've watched so far and you've managed to not click off this video because this guy's too positive. Oh, he has such a good attitude, you know? F you, Joseph. Right? Bro, okay, I understand what you're going through, but it's not helping. The way that you think is not helping. You're complaining, criticizing, oh, I'm being depressed. It's not serving you, and it's not serving other people, and it's only going to hurt you if you keep doing that long term. And that hurts other people, because you could have done good things. So, what are the baby steps that will take you out of this situation? I would recommend, I'm biased, listen to these videos, okay? Read positive books if you don't want to listen to me on a continual basis, right? Read positive books. What are the top 10 most positive books? You have Google search, for crying out loud. Do you know all the depressed people that were depressed before internet? Like, what were they gonna do, you know? Like, you actually have solutions at your fingertips. It's just freaking awesome. That's a baby step. Going outside of your house is a very important baby step. And you should stay outside of your house. Like, I mean, a half an hour walk outside in the light will do you great good, especially if it's sunny outside. You know, go for a brisk walk in the park. Maybe you can exercise. If you haven't exercised for a long time, that's probably going to impact your happiness hormones. Yes, those exist, and you need them. Okay? You need to exercise. And it's people would say, oh, isn't that selfish? No. If you exercise, you are healing inside. Your brain is healing inside, and you are beginning to feel better about yourself. If you feel better about yourself, you're actually being unselfish. Because if you feel better about yourself and you seek to serve other people, it's more likely that you will be able to do that if you feel good about yourself. I'm not talking about, like being, like overconfident bully type thing, right? I'm talking about just feeling good about you so that you can help other people feel good about themselves. If you feel bad about yourself, you're gonna, like you've heard the saying, hurt people hurt people. So blessed people bless people. Like, let's do that instead, right? So those are the small itty bitty things you can do, is surround yourself with positive people. You will do that automatically if you go to the gym. Well, I don't want to go to the gym. Go to the gym, right? You can start with calisthenics, but that is lonely. You're not around people, most probably, unless there's a calisthenics milieu, all right, environment where you live. That would be cool. Join groups. Join, things where you meet people in real life. And maybe you are depressed in the beginning when you show up and they're like, maybe they don't feel comfortable with you. But you will eventually find a group of people that you don't feel awkward around if you keep going. You should just not give up, right? Other things that you can do. Like I've mentioned the baby steps. Write down your 100 dreams. It's very difficult when you're depressed to write down 100 dreams because you don't want to do nothing. And you don't believe that you can do nothing. But if you could do anything, what would you do? Now write your 100 dreams. because you can do amazing things. And you need to take that limiting belief off, that cap off, that, all the people that have said that you wouldn't amount to anything, well, they're wrong. They have been telling you a lie since the very beginning, if they've told you that stuff. And you need to think differently about you and be around people who believe in you. Those are the baby steps that need to be taken. Where there is no vision, people perish. And what perishing truly means is depression, because you're walking around like a zombie. You're walking around dead. And it's not serving anyone, especially not you. So, the next thing that we need to do is to get you out of that depression, and I'm pretty good at doing that if you surround yourself with me, with the environment, with the community, with people who think better about the future. The future's bright. It's freaking awesome what's going on and what's going to happen, okay? I love that saying. Patrick Bet-David is freaking awesome. So, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I hope you got lots out of this video. Remember, depression is selfish. So if you're gonna, if you feel really, really bad about yourself some days, rewatch this video and get to the point where, you know what, I just need to go out and serve some people and do some volunteer work and smile, even though I don't feel like smiling, okay? Eventually people will smile back at me, and then now I'm infected, and now we can smile genuinely towards each other. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.